What's this? A letter for me.
Welcome to another episode of Through the Mail Thursdays with Remember the Great Sports. I have 4 envelopes that I'm going to open. So we're going to get right to it and see who we got. So the first one is postmarked from Tampa, Florida. And like I've said in many videos, there's a lot of people that are retired in Florida and Arizona, so sometimes it's hard to tell, who you're getting back. And this one is former Chicago White Sox, Baltimore Oriole, and Washington National, Bruce Howard. I said Washington National, I meant Washington Senator. Sorry, Nationals didn't exist back then. But it looks like he signed 404, including his rookie card here. I don't know if Marv Stahl is still alive or if, he signs through the mail, so I might look at getting Mr. Stahl to sign if he is available to do so. Bruce Howard is one of those guys that played back in the 60s, not a real well-known name. He played, a few years for the White Sox, and I'm not sure how long his career lasted, but he was definitely with the White Sox for a few years. This was somebody that, I picked up some cards pretty cheap on, probably 50 cents or less, per card, and had laying around, and I thought, the guy signs through the mail, so why not send a few to him and see what he signs for me. So very happy to get those back in the mail. Mr. Howard, thank you for signing those, and we'll move on to the next one. Slowly but surely. Alright, the next one is postmarked from Metroplex, Michigan, so somewhere around Detroit, would be my guess. And this is, a former Detroit Tiger for his entire career, from 1964 to 1978, and that is outfielder Mickey Stanley. And he signed 1, 2, 3 of the 4. I threw the extra duplicate in there for him, but it looks like he didn't sign it or keep it. So I'll throw that one to the side and show you the 3 that he did sign. So he signed a Swell Greats card, which I love those cards. Those are wonderful cards. This is one of those SSPC 1975 cards. I've shown this type of set in a few other of my videos. And this is, I believe, a 69 tops. Yes, a 69 tops. Mr. Stanley, I'm just going to take a look at the back of his card here. He made the all-time set for a reason, is the way I look at it. So, kind of messed up the sign a little bit there. But Mr. Stanley played, like I mentioned, 14 years with the Tigers. He was on the 68 World Series team that also featured Al Kaline. He was a versatile glove man, it says, in center field. He had a gold glove in 1968, 69, and 73. He also had an airless streak in the outfield of 164 and 220 games without an error. So that tells you this guy was one heck of a fielder. I never had a chance to see him play, but that tells you that that guy knew how to play his position and played it very well. I mean, to think a player goes that long without ever having an error, especially as a center fielder where balls are hit to you, many times a game. So thank you very much, Mr. Stanley. Lifetime, Detroit Tiger. During that era, he played in an era that there were players that, stayed with their team and stayed there for life. I'm pretty sure he was from the Michigan area, so hometown boy, got to play in his home stadium. Doesn't say on the back of that one, but I was just trying to see if it says where he was born. Yeah, he was born in Grand Rapids, Michigan, so obviously he probably grew up going to Tigers games, and what a better place to play your illustrious 14-year baseball career than playing for your hometown team. So thank you, Mr. Stanley. Love to add those to the collection. Alright, This next one is postmarked from Santa Clarita, California. And it looks like another vintage stack of cards here, because there's the strikeout leaders card that I sent. And this is from Mr. Al Downing. And there's a 68 tops, right? Yep, 68 tops, a 67 tops, and a 1964 strikeout leader 65 tops. Dean Chance recently passed away, so unfortunately I won't be able to have the opportunity for him to ever sign that. And I'm pretty sure Camilo might be passed away, but he's not too accessible here in the United States. So Mr. Downing was a good pitcher for the Yankees. Left-handed pitcher, very good. Strikeout guy, as he led the league in strikeouts in '64. Let's just see how many he had that year. 217 strikeouts that year, which was far more than Camilo Pascual. So Camilo fell a little bit short there. Second, he's probably more famous for something that someone else did than what his career actually turned out to be. He, as many of you baseball historians know, Al Downing is the one that gave up Hank Aaron's record-breaking 714th or 715th home run ball to pass Henry Aaron. If you have ever seen the highlight of Henry Aaron hitting the home run, the famous call by the announcer of the Atlanta Braves at the time is, well, here's the pitch by Downing. And crack, Hank Aaron hits it over the left field wall. So Al Downing is unfortunately known for that dubious moment of his career, but he was also one of the centerpieces of the 1960s Yankees, the mid-60s. Obviously, the Yankees had a decline, towards the end of the 60s, and they weren't as dominant as they had been. So thank you, Mr. Downing, for that. I appreciate it, and we'll move on to the next autograph. Well, we'll assume it's an autograph. Sometimes you get stuff back in the mail that's not actually signed. That's kind of a bummer for everybody. So this next one is also postmarked from California, and this is Mr. Tim Wallach. Were both of those from the same town? What are the odds of that? No, Santa Clarita and Santa Ana. Okay. But what are the odds I grabbed those two? I didn't even mean to do that. So, Mr. Wallach was a mainstay on the Montreal Expos for many years. Later, I think he went to the Dodgers to finish out his career. This card, yeah, he came up with the Expos in 1980, and he was there till at least 92. Not sure what year he went to the Dodgers. I'd have to look that up. But he played for the Dodgers at the end of his career. I want to say maybe he went somewhere else after that, but I don't think he did. Most recently, he coached with the Dodgers, but I think he was let go from that position a year or two ago. I don't think he's no longer affiliated with the Dodgers. Also, he has a few sons that played professional baseball. I don't know if any of them made it to the majors, but I know they all played in the minor leagues. If they did make it to the majors, it was only a brief, time period. So if you're ever looking to build a father-son collection of autographs, you definitely need to look into the fact that his sons also played professionally, and you can get them probably relatively cheap. I know, I want to say I saw one of his sons named Brett, when he played for the Peoria Chiefs many years ago. So, thank you, Mr. Wallach. Very happy to add those to the collection as well. Thank you for joining me for another video. These are, very enjoyable for me to shoot. I love to see some of your comments down at the bottom. If you're ever looking to add one of the best Expos ever to your collection, Tim Wallach is a pretty good through-the-mail signer, so I recommend getting him through the mail. I had another autographer that posts on YouTube say that he recently got him back, and I posted a comment on his page saying, you know, I'm like 0 for 2 the last time I wrote Mr. Wallach, so I guess since you got him back, I'll give him a try, and I stuck a few in the mail, and I would say probably in a 2 to 3 week turnaround I got him back. So thank you very much, Mr. Wallach. I wish you the best, and I thank all of you for watching, and look forward to your comments below.